Right now at 6, dangerous heat set to return to the Northwest, causing late summer uncertainty with kids and teens back in the classroom.
If an entire school loses their AC, then we may have to pivot.
Plus, pushing back on universal ID checks for alcohol and tobacco.
And sure, it's a lot easier just to say scan everybody, but you can't do that.
Why some say carding everyone, regardless of age, is against the law.
And celebrating a new affordable housing community. The big investment meant to benefit farm workers and veterans. Hey, very good evening, everyone. On this Wednesday, where it's 91 degrees in the Rose City as we get set for what's shaping up to be a 48-hour stretch with temperatures set to soar even higher.
Excessive heat warnings are in effect with weather impact alert days declared for both Thursday and Friday. And this evening, we've got team coverage of the potentially dangerous late summer heat. John Adams is looking into how schools without air conditioning are planning to deal with the high temperatures.
But first, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafino. And Matt, it sounds like we are still on track for triple digits.
We are. Yeah, we're calling tomorrow and Friday weather impact alert days just to alert you to the fact that the weather is going to be at the very least uncomfortable for many and downright dangerous for those that suffer from heat stress or heat related illnesses. So be ready to just hydrate, first of all, because it'll be very dry, very hot, and reduce your activity if you're one of those that suffers from any kind of heat stress. Thursday and Friday are the days and we'll be up around 100 degrees, and some interesting records will likely fall with that. We're at 91 right now. We actually ended up a little bit lower today than I had forecast because of those morning clouds that we had. Helped to take some of the edge off the heating, but still a hot one. 94 in Hillsborough, 93 in Troutdale, 94 in McMinnville, 92 in Aurora. And already today we had 100-degree heat down in the Rogue Valley, but we'll see many more triple-digit highs across western Oregon during the day tomorrow. We even had 90s at a can of beets this afternoon. So let's look at the temperatures hour by hour tomorrow. Again, we topped out at 91 today. We're going to get there by about 1 or 1:30. Actually, before that, about 12:30 or noon to 12:30 should make up to 91 today's high. Then we soar up to about 101 at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That'll tie the record for the date. But September 5th is currently the latest day in the year that we've ever hit 100 degrees. And I think we're going to do it again on Friday, which would make that the new record for the latest occurrence of 100 degrees in the Rose City. We are under an excessive heat warning, not yet, but that begins tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., continues until 10 p.m. on Friday, surrounded by a heat advisory. We also have fire weather concerns because of the hot, dry weather, not only in the Cascades and the Gorge, but also in the valley. Guys?
Appreciate you keeping us updated. Thank you, Matt. The high heat also prompting several cooling centers to open. Multnomah County will be opening 2 centers tomorrow and maybe Friday, depending on the latest forecast. They're at Cook Plaza in Gresham at 194th and Stark, as well as Portland Covenant Church on Northeast MLK. There are a number of others opening in the metro area. You can find all of that information at kgw.com. Meantime, local school districts are scrambling to make sure students stay cool in the classroom. A few smaller districts have already decided to release kids early tomorrow.
I've been watching them come in right now. John Adams is live at Chapman Elementary in Northwest Portland, where we're watching to see if Oregon's biggest school district might cancel classes tomorrow or end the day early. John, what are you hearing?
Well, David and Christine, I spoke with both PPS and the Beaverton School District today. Beaverton is in better shape when it comes to having air conditioning available in classrooms, but both districts are going to be monitoring things as temperatures are expected to soar over the next 2 days. Now, only 15 of the 81 Portland public school buildings have air conditioning. In a note home to parents, the district says it will operate ventilation systems overnight in the buildings without AC to try to cool them down any way they can. Portable fans and extra water will also be made available. In Beaverton, a recent bond measure has allowed numerous buildings to add central AC over the last few years. The only building without it is West Tualatin View Elementary, which utilizes portable AC units. A spokesperson from the district says it's still a good idea to make sure students are prepared.
We'd encourage parents to talk to their kids tonight about staying hydrated. Drink water. Make sure you bring a water bottle to school that you're drinking frequently throughout the day. Our staff will remind kids to do that. And you're going to want to dress your children lightly.
Both districts say they're going to follow OSAA guidelines when it comes to after-school sports, which recommends stopping practice and games when the heat index reaches 105 degrees or higher. We are expected to hear at some point today what Portland Public Schools will determine about school on Thursday and Friday. We're expecting that announcement sometime this evening. We've also learned in the last couple hours that Estacada schools will release 2 hours early on Thursday. And in the Park Rose District, elementary schools there will release at 12:15 on Thursday. David and Christine, back to you.
Thank you, John. Going to add one more to the list just in Oregon Trail School District in Sandy. That is the first full closure on Thursday. Again, Oregon Trail School District in Sandy. We have a link for you right now on KGW.com to keep track of the list because it is growing Thursday and Friday. You can also find the latest forecast anytime on our streaming app, KGW+. In your headlines now, Portland police are looking for the person they say shot and killed a man overnight in Old Town. This was just after 3:30 on Southwest 3rd between Burnside and Ankeny near the original Voodoo Donuts. The victim arrived at the hospital in a private vehicle and later died. We're working to try to get information about the suspect.
Portland police hope you can help find a man who exposed himself to a woman who was jogging in southeast Portland. It happened around 10:30 this morning along the Springwater corridor near Johnson Creek Boulevard and Brookside Drive. She says the man passed her on a bike, jumped into the bushes further up the trail, then exposed himself and tried to grab her as she passed. She escaped and ran away for help. She says he was a white man in his 30s, about 5'8" with a shaved head. She says he was wearing all black and riding a bike with 2 backpacks.
The CEO of Kroger testified in a federal courtroom in downtown Portland today that merging with rival Albertsons would allow the new company to lower prices to compete with giants like Walmart, Costco, and Amazon. Rodney McMullen also committed to not closing any branches, at least not immediately. Now, if the deal goes through, and right now it is a big if, the two companies have already said they will sell dozens of Safeway, Albertsons, and QFC stores in Oregon and Washington. The Federal Trade Commission has sued to stop the merger, alleging it would eliminate competition and lead to higher food prices. All right, if you've ever gone into a store to buy beer, wine, or liquor, you may have encountered a clerk who asked to scan your ID or your driver's license.
Right, so a growing number of retailers have implemented universal ID checks for alcohol or tobacco products. That means they'll card you, even if you're 70, 80, maybe even 90 years old. But as investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi found, a pair of lawsuits are looking to undo those policies, claiming they're against the law and an invasion of privacy.
Scott Dale is clearly old enough to buy tobacco. You don't need to see a valid government-issued photo ID to figure that out.
I'm a 49-year-old male, gray hair, and that's who I am.
So when a clerk at this Astro gas station demanded to scan the Malala man's driver's license before selling him a can of Copenhagen, the 49-year-old refused.
And I told him, no, you don't need to see my ID. It's against the Oregon law.
Dale complained to management, which explained it's corporate policy, posted right there on the counter. WSCO Petroleum requires the scanning of ID for all age-restricted purchases. A growing number of retailers have implemented similar policies, which require anyone looking to buy alcohol or tobacco be carded, no matter the age, and the barcode on their driver's license scanned for verification.
And so no one has to do math, and so you just scan it. It's 100% accurate.
Jonathan Polonsky, CEO of Plaid Pantry, says the policy makes it easier, eliminates any guesswork, and keeps the company in compliance with state and local requirements.
All we're trying to do is do the right thing and make sure that kids don't get tobacco or alcohol.
I understand their reasoning because they're trying to protect themselves from selling to underage, and I get that and I understand that. And sure, it's a lot easier just to say scan everybody, but you can't do that when there's privacy laws in place to keep you from having to scan.
More specifically, Dale is referring to the Oregon law, which prohibits the swiping of a driver's license except under certain circumstances, including the sale of age-restricted products if there is any reasonable doubt that the person is 21. And that, Dale and his attorney argue, makes this policy of scanning everyone's ID unlawful.
The law does not allow a business to swipe every driver's license on every transaction.
The law, passed by the Oregon legislature in 2009, was intended to prevent the collection of data from driver's licenses and ID cards.
The concern is privacy.
Plaid Pantry and WSCO Petroleum, which owns Astro gas stations, are both being sued over their universal card swiping policies in separate class action lawsuits.
We are trying to be the good guys along with other retailers and do the right thing. So for somebody to come at us and try to enriching themselves for that is frustrating.
Plaid Pantry says it doesn't capture, collect, or store any information when carding customers.
We only look at the date of birth.
The company claims the government encourages the scanning of IDs. The Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission, or OLCC, specifically permits the sale of alcohol using age verification equipment and recommends it for retailers who've repeatedly sold alcohol to minors. The OLCC website includes a list of companies offering scanning equipment. And in Multnomah County, training materials for tobacco retailers suggest they use an app from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to scan IDs.
They're protecting themselves, these business owners, but they're doing so by sacrificing your rights, and that's not correct.
Dale argues the law is there for a reason, to protect your privacy, and company policy can't override it.
Plaid Pantry believes the law is poorly written, and a simple fix eliminating the part about reasonable doubt would allow the company to continue checking all IDs for alcohol and tobacco sales. WSCO Petroleum declined to comment because of the pending litigation.
How interesting, Kyle. I had no idea this was even an issue, and I can't even imagine. I mean, of course, if that law were to be changed, it's going to take a while, too.
Sure. That's why the fine print always matters. Thank you, Kyle. Well, still to come on KGW News at 6. We're going to take you to a brand new complex in Oregon City designed to welcome farm workers and veterans home.
And a big blow for downtown Portland. The bank that just announced it's leaving the city's second tallest building, taking hundreds of employees with it.
I'm Blair Best. Coming up tonight on The Story, how Oregon's new law recriminalizing drug possession is playing out inside Multnomah County courtrooms. New details on deflection, that option between treatment over jail, and how the county is trying to keep things fair. That's all coming up tonight at 6:30, only on The Story on KGW.